You wake up, you eat. Midday, you eat again. Evening, a third time. You've never questioned it. It feels like biology. It isn't. For most of human history, 3 fixed meals a day would have sounded insane. Your body doesn't demand 3 meals. No internal alarm goes off exactly 6 hours apart. What you're actually running is a very recent invention, dressed up to look ancient. And some of the people who built it weren't doctors. They were salesmen. Modern researchers describe the standard 3 meals plus snacks pattern as something unusual, not the norm humans evolved for, but a modern habit layered on top of older biology. So if the body didn't demand this, who decided the number was 3? And when did it become law? Start in ancient Rome. Most Romans ate one real meal a day, called cena, usually in the afternoon. Eating more than that wasn't healthy. It was considered gluttony. Their morning and midday meals existed, but they were scraps, a bite, a gesture. The Greeks did something closer to what we do. Bread soaked in wine in the morning, a light lunch, a heavier evening meal. But for over 1,000 years afterward, Christian Europe pulled things back toward one dominant meal again. Nothing before morning mass. Dinner, the big meal, landed around 11 in the morning, not evening, morning. Picture an English farming household 500 years ago. The household rises before dawn. Work starts immediately. Animals, fields, fire. Around 11 in the morning, the household stops. This is dinner, the day's one substantial meal, eaten together at a shared table. After that, there might be a small bite of bread late in the day if anyone's hungry. That's it. 2 food events, no clock-based grid, no name for a midday meal at all because there barely was one. Food historian Abigail Carroll argues something uncomfortable happened next. When European colonists encountered Native American communities, they noticed people eating whenever food was ready or whenever they were hungry, not on a schedule. Carroll's research suggests colonists read that flexibility as evidence the people they were colonizing were less civilized. That judgment, she argues, helped push European settlers toward defending a rigid, scheduled way of eating as a marker of order and superiority. This is one historian's interpretation, not a settled consensus, but it lines up with what happened next. The Industrial Revolution is where 3 meals actually locks into place. Factories run on fixed hours. You can't step outside and eat when you're hungry. You eat before your shift. You eat during a scheduled break. You eat after you clock out. Breakfast becomes mandatory because you need fuel before a 12-hour shift. Lunch has to be invented from scratch because until now, it barely existed as a real meal. As late as 1755, lunch just meant a handful of food, not a sitting. It only crystallizes into an actual meal around 1850, timed to the middle of the industrial workday. Dinner shifts from midday to evening because that's when workers finally get home. 3 meals, not biology. A shift schedule. In 1917, a physician named John Harvey Kellogg, who ran a health sanitarium and believed bland cereal supported both physical and moral purity, began pushing the idea that breakfast was essential. It didn't fully take over the culture until 1944, when General Foods launched a national ad campaign for Grape Nuts, telling Americans on the radio, in magazines, everywhere, that nutrition experts said breakfast was the most important meal of the day. That sentence you grew up hearing wasn't handed down by science. It was handed down by an ad campaign for cereal. A few years later, a bacon company had a problem. Nobody wanted their bacon. They hired Edward Bernays, a pioneer of public relations. Bernays had his agency's own in-house doctor claim a hearty breakfast was healthier, then had that doctor write to 5,000 physicians asking them to confirm it. About 4,500 wrote back agreeing. Bernays took that and ran it in newspapers nationwide. Physicians urging Americans to eat a heavy breakfast, with bacon and eggs offered as the model meal. Sales jumped. Today, most bacon eaten in America is still eaten at breakfast because of that campaign. Meanwhile, groups living close to how your ancestors lived never adopted any of this. Hadza foragers in Tanzania today eat while they're out gathering food, sometimes consuming nearly a full day's worth of energy before they even get back to camp. Then eat again with the group once they return. No fixed slots, no clock, just food when there's food. Researchers studying meal patterns now describe the standard 3 meals a day grid as something evolutionarily unusual, not the default humans are built for. To be fair, eating on some kind of regular rhythm does appear to matter for things like blood sugar and your body's internal clock. That part isn't fake. But the specific number 3 and the specific hours you eat at, that part was assembled piece by piece by monasteries, factory whistles, cereal executives, and a bacon company's PR agent. Not one of them was optimizing for your biology. They were optimizing for a workday, a slogan, or a sale.